want to talk to you specifically about your playoff experience, because you played in one of the most memorable playoff games of all time. Your Kansas City Chief team were taking on the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm just going to read off some of the stats here. This is a pretty wild game. AFC Divisional Playoffs, which took place on January 11th, 2004 at Arrowhead Stadium. So this was a home game for you guys. And this is a game where neither team punted. I don't know if you knew that. Neither team punted in this. So it was an offensive shootout for the ages. And Peyton Manning finished with 304 yards.
Yeah, don't remind me.
3 touchdowns.
Yeah, don't remind me.
And your counterpart on the other side, Edgerrin James.
That's right.
Who's one of the best ever. 125. He had 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. But you bested him. You finished with 176 yards and 2 touchdowns. And you even added 32 receiving yards from 5 receptions. So, all right, I painted the picture a little bit there. But you go in depth. What was that game like, not only leading up to it, what went down during the game, and then obviously the result at the end. So talk a little bit about that game and your memories.
Yeah, you kind of dating me now, Mark. But when I think back to that time, there's one thing that I can say, and it really wasn't anything that happened like specifically in the game, right? When I think back to that particular week leading up to it, one, we had the bye week, right? So again, it was that situation where I was like, man, how many of these younger guys are going to take this time to just go have fun, right? Instead of really locking in.
Right.
Everyone was happy and excited that we had the bye week, so everybody pretty much had a chance to go home, and visit with family. But the day of that event, the week leading up to it, it snowed in Kansas City.
Snowed in Kansas City.
I'm thinking this is a disadvantage to Peyton Manning into his merry little crew that's coming into town, right? I'm like, oh, we got this game, right?
Yeah.
We've got that, like you talk about in you got the 12th man, you got the 6th man in basketball, that obstacle that kind of helps the team away or the team coming in. So it snows all week long, right? And I'm like, this is going to be a great game, right? There's not going to be a lot of passing in the game. It's going to be all running. I'm ready for that, right?
You're ready for that.
We show up that morning, and I'll tell you what, from when you think it's going to be sunny, it happened, man. I couldn't believe it, Mark. We woke up that morning on Sunday, on that Sunday morning, and instead of snow being on the ground, instead of it being nice and chilly and cold, man, that sun comes out, melts everything you can think of around Arrowhead Stadium. There might be embankments of snow like built up on the streets and stuff like that, but as far as that field is concerned, man, it was just like a warm sunny day. And I said, oh my goodness, I already know what's about to start happening. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of passing in this game. Definitely we tried to control the game with the running, with the rushing attack. As you stated, there was no punts that were in that game as well.
That's pretty wild, man.
Which was very disappointing because, for us, in order to, we use punt returning as an offensive weapon, because we had Dante Hall. So we could, obviously extend our offense, whether it was on a kickoff return or whether it was on a punt return. And to know that Dante wouldn't have an opportunity to return any of those punts, man, that was a downer, of course.
So was he just on the sideline in a cage, like like yelling at the defense? Come on, guys, you got to make a stop.
No, I just think so many different terms of this game. When I think back to it, all the things that you kind of wish that would happen. Some of them did, and then of course some of them didn't. But like I said, when that sun showed up on that Sunday morning, and all the snow in the stadium melted away, the field was dry, it was ready to play a really great game, and we knew that Peyton Manning would be throwing the ball. We actually had an earlier conversation on one of the podcasts with Eric Warfield. One of the things that I didn't realize is that he was having back surgery during this time. And so he had a major injury during this time. And so there was some of the things that probably weren't spoken back then that I now know 20-something years later, right? Like, wait a minute. You mean
filled
to tell
in some
me,
gaps, right?
Yeah. You mean to tell me that you was on your last leg during that game? One of the biggest games for us, But it was one of those situations that kind of look back. I mean, we had Tony Gonzalez as well. I did everything that I could, as far as an offensive player to,
and then some, man.
to try to see if we could definitely have an opportunity to dominate this game. I mean, the score went back and forth a few times. it got to the point where we knew it was going to come down to our defense having to stop them, because offensively we were scoring, but we needed to have some major stops. And I think during that game there was a few stops that the defense did have,
Mhm.
but I think at the overall, when it comes down to it, man, we just didn't put up enough points on the offensive side of the ball, and I definitely think that was a really amazing game.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, you guys didn't win that game, but and that ultimately would be your last playoff game or
Ah,
playoff
man.
appearance, which is wild to me, Priest, because it's not like I don't want to say you guys had great teams or bad teams, but it's just very surprising that you weren't in more playoff games in Kansas
Yeah,
City.
yeah. I mean, when
Yeah.
we even, looked at that stat in terms of those five particular playoff games,
Mhm.
and of course, the majority of them coming on that run to the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
you would think that you would have so many more opportunities. Even when I thought leaving Baltimore,
Mhm.
and leaving on such a high note in terms of winning that Super Bowl 35 with the Baltimore Ravens, right? Jamal Lewis and myself being in the backfield and making
Mhm.
sure we're taking care of the running game, right? Also being a part of one of the number one defense, at that particular time, as strong as that defense was led by Ray Lewis. But when I think back to that, I'm just like, man, when I got that Super Bowl ring, I was really thinking in my head at that time in 2000, I got one. I was part of a team and getting one. Let me go out and go get my own now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
And so
yeah.
that was the mentality. I thought that, yeah, of course you can win another Super Bowl. You've already been there. So you know the formula, you know what it takes. And during my time with the Kansas City Chiefs, there was always, one or two things that we were missing as far as that element to really bring our team together. Of course, 2003, we had an explosive offensive
Mhm.
stat production, you know what I mean, in terms of what we produced on offensively. But as far as uniting our team and really bringing it together, we fell short of that, man. And
Mhm.
that way, I never got a chance to really get back into those playoffs, as far as thinking how easy it would be.
Right, right. Yeah,
There's a lot
look,
that goes into it, Mark.
I know
Yes, it
there's a
is.
lot of luck too involved. You can be the best at what you do,
Now, forget
but it
luck,
is a
man.
team
Yeah,
sport, man.
I would say forget the luck, man.
Yeah, you don't do you believe in luck, Priest? I don't
Well,
think I've ever asked
yeah,
yet.
not so much luck. I mean, it really is. You got to just put forth that effort. You know what I mean? You got to have a few things that come together the right way to really make that piece, that puzzle come together.
Mhm.
Um, but I think that it's just a number of things. You would think that it would just be having the best quarterback. Well, that's not necessarily true.
Right.
You would think it could be the best running back. You can think of Barry Sanders during his prime, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that at all. You can have the best offense, not have the best defense, man. It's really a culmination of really your players, your coaching
Mhm.
staff, and really that season coming together. But I can tell you what, there's usually some major hurdles that happen that previous season and in the off season that really predicts and produces that next team. The team that forges through all those difficult times usually is the team that you'll see ended up coming in at that Super Bowl championship, you know what I mean? Or at
Sure.
least making it to that AFC NFC championship game.
Right.
And then, I mean, you just got to roll the dice then once you come out of that game, because both teams are locked in, they're ready to play. But this is going to be an interesting playoffs. It really
It's
is, man.
wild. None of the
Unpredicted
teams
at
we
all the
thought were
teams.
gonna be there,
Yep.
they're not there, and these teams out of no I mean, the Seahawks too, man. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah,
You
no.
think Sam Darnold bouncing around, it's not working out for him in one team, he winds up in Seattle, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden everything's in place. And every time well, we're gonna break down all these games, but,
Okay.
when we think about the teams that make it, it's like you could have an argument for every single one of the teams that's in the playoffs,
That's right.
which is pretty
To
wild.
a certain degree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we'll
There's some
see.
teams that's just in there to hurt the chances of another team really,
It
having that opportunity. Because like any given Sunday, anything that can happen, right?
right.
But for the most part, we can have a pretty good idea that there's a few teams in here that are gonna have a lot more success and a lot better run than the next.
Right.
I know we'll get into all of that, but it's gonna be interesting.
All right, last question I have before we dive in is, we heard the news recently, and at the time of this taping, Harbaugh is out in
Yes.
Baltimore. Crazy game. They lost on a missed field goal at the very end of the
Yes.
game, which is brutal. Feel bad for that rookie kicker. There's been a lot of horrible things happening online and stuff. So people got to curb that. It's like you can be a fan, but
Yeah.
it's at the end of the day, it's a game. We're all human, right? But a very difficult thing to go through, not only as a player but as a coach, and ultimately, This is a straw that breaks the camel's back. 18 years in Baltimore, 2 Super Bowl appearances, 1 win. Is this the right move for Baltimore? Do you move on from Harbaugh in this situation, or were you a little surprised by this? What's your reaction
No, I
to
mean,
Harbaugh?
definitely there's a surprise to it also, usually when coaches that have had as much success as he's had.
Mhm,
But I think it definitely probably is that time.
mhm.
Um, I
12th most winning coach of all time?
yeah, and so that just proves that he will definitely be able to make a lateral move,
Yeah.
to another team. But
Yeah, yeah.
as far as him continuing with the Baltimore Ravens, it probably was just that time.
Okay.
I think maybe the chemistry may not have been there
Mhm.
this particular season. I mean, they had a number of injuries, obviously,
Yeah.
to their top two best players right on that team um, with their quarterback and with Henry, and so their running back. So. Um, It'll be interesting, man, where
Where
he
does he go?
lands.
Where do you
Yeah,
think he
it'll be
goes?
interesting where he lands.
Is he coming to Cleveland?
Look, I know you love Cleveland.
Is he
Your
coming?
ties are with Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think, but at this particular time, I think like you discussed with me, you all would take Harbaugh.
I'd take Harbaugh in a
You
second.
would?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little bummed about Schwartz. I liked him a lot, but
Okay.
um, I don't know. It doesn't matter what you do in Cleveland; it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking someone with that much experience, maybe he is the key to changing the culture, or at least setting the tone and putting the right pieces in place. Maybe he doesn't stay long. Maybe it's a short tenure. He
Yeah.
just comes in, fixes some things, and moves on.
Yeah, I can
But
agree. I mean, in
yeah,
terms of setting the tone, with his resume, the amount of
I mean, he's a
leadership that
winner.
he's shown,
He's a
he's a
winner.
winner as well.
You know.
Um, Yeah, very calculated too,
Yep.
as a head coach as well. Knows how to position his players in the right situations, and so. But I think that still is a very very steep
Yeah.
hill, to be able. I think with him having 18 years in Baltimore, I don't know if he wants to restart with
Yeah.
an organization. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that would be pretty tough, as well. For him to be able to maneuver through all of the different difficulties that it is that comes with Cleveland, possibly. I
You
think
can
that'd be a tough one
You
to
can
take
say it.
on.
You don't have to put it in quotes. You can say it. It's okay.
Oh
We're used to
man.
it. We're used to it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, look, he's going to land somewhere. Everybody, I mean, he's at the top of the list now, right? Every team that's looking for a coach right now is going to want Hardball.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you
so,
even
but
talk about that, even with him going to Cleveland. I mean, just with Sanders,
mhm,
shoot, that'd be number one priority that
yeah,
he would have to figure out. I mean,
yeah.
that relationship, how does this work? Um, you know,
Is it too hard of a choice to choose between 5 quarterbacks and one
yes, I'm
that
saying
quarterback?
it's gonna
I'm being
be tough.
sarcastic. I think it's only 4, but yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems it's 40. I read this somewhere recently, and oh my gosh, it was so painful. Priest, since 1999, when the Browns came
Yeah.
back after the move to Baltimore, 44 different starting
Come on.
quarterbacks,
Come on now. Now you've already actually gave me the number and
maybe
when you
45.
look,
I honestly, it's in the 40s. I know that, and that think about that. Green Bay has had
that's where I was leading.
2.
Yes. That's where I was going.
Now that's the polar opposite.
Yeah.
There's a lot of teams out there, Chicago, a
That
lot of
cycle in, the
quarterbacks,
quarterbacks.
but I mean, nothing like Cleveland. I
Yeah.
mean, it's wild how many quarterbacks they've starters. Isn't that crazy? Could you
Well,
imagine taking a handoff from 44 different
it
quarterbacks? Poor Joe
would be
Thomas
tough.
had to block for a different guy every
Yeah.
week. Every week.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.